I'm just leaving the Capitol now. It was crazy. I'm going to try to explain this as quickly as I can. So SB 1635, this is the bill that will allow law enforcement to arrest you if you blow a whistle to let people know that ICE is around. We just heard it here at the state capitol in Phoenix. And first, we had invited the community to come out to share your voices. People were packing the room with shirts that said ICE out. The sponsor of the bill, Senator John Kavanaugh, decided in the middle of committee to leave committee. So we had no idea whether the bill was going to be heard today, which is Wednesday, or on Friday when we have a supplemental hearing because there was too many bills on the agenda. The chairman did not know where Senator Kavanaugh was and could not give us clarity about whether SB 1635 would be heard today or on Friday. Then we go on break for dinner and the chairperson is freaking out because she can't find Senator Kavanaugh. It turns out he's on a goddamn radio show live on YouTube. So I showed her, I said, this is where he is. He's live right now at a radio show like 30 minutes away from the Capitol. She was pissed. So at this point, we're thinking, okay, so we're not going to hear his bill. We're not going to hear it until Friday. Well, we went on dinner break. Everybody basically cleared the committee room. And as soon as the committee room was cleared, the chairperson, Wendy Rogers, decided to come back from recess. She straight up lied to me about whether the bill would be heard. And immediately when the room was empty, she said, we're hearing SB 1635. So all of the community members who had left ran back into the committee room. And thankfully, we had enough people to give testimony. Senator Rogers would not let me ask questions about how violent ICE has been to try to make the case that everybody has a perfectly understandable reason to want to know where ICE is so that we could protect ourselves from being murdered in the streets by the United States government. She wouldn't let me ask those questions. Senator Kavanaugh got in a fight with an attorney because the attorney was trying to tell him that there are already laws that prohibit people from letting a very dangerous person know that law enforcement is after them. And Kavanaugh was fighting with this person. And then the last person to come up to speak was a community member who was just filled with emotion, and they kept talking over their allotted time. So Senator Rogers gavelled them down. And when she started hitting her gavel, a bunch of people in the room stood up with their fists up, and it was incredibly powerful. And they started chanting, which you are not allowed to chant inside of the Capitol. So the chairperson immediately called a recess. All of the Republicans left the committee room. All of the Democrats stayed behind with the community. And then security started to say that they were going to arrest people. So we peacefully escorted everybody out of the building because the last thing we want is for anybody to have an unnecessary interaction with law enforcement. After we got outside of the building, we had a conversation, we regrouped. All of the Democrats, me, Senator Hatatli, and Senator Kuby were talking to the community members. And as we were outside is when the chairperson, Wendy Rogers, decided to come back in to call the vote for SB 1635. So at the very last minute, the Democrats ran back inside and she tried to make it sound like we could not express our votes. And we fought back and said we really want to be able to vote and to explain our votes. So we did. So thank you to everyone who showed up, everyone who sent emails. Your voices really do make a difference because the sponsor of the bill immediately started the committee off by claiming his intention was something other than what we know it is, right? He was trying to save face. He was trying to make it sound like the bill was not as bad as it is. And so we know the pressure is working. Now, we need folks to come back to the state capitol, 1700 West Washington Street on Friday, February 20th at 8 a.m. because the other bad bill, SB 1570, which would require ICE to be outside of polling places, will be on the agenda. We need to pack the room again. We need to show people that we want ICE out of Arizona. Get involved with Lucha Arizona if you want to continue to make your voice heard on these bills.